It's a real pleasure for me to be here today. I'm hoping that you all can hear me well. Anyway, this is a very exciting topic that I've been given. Personally, I've been in the drone industry for more than 10 years, and I've flown my drones in Russia, in Africa, before the drone as we know it today. And Aerodyne is a 7-year-old company. I will be sharing a little bit about what we do and how we've been scaling our operations and our focus in the nested drone solutions as well, right? What you're seeing now on the screen is actually our footprint, the kind of work that we do around the world. Our HQ is actually here in Malaysia, but we have operations in almost every continent of the world, right? So next, I think we all are very familiar and aware of what are the use case of drone. You know, we've been doing this for the past 7 years. At Aerodyne, the key solutions that we do are in geospatial, infrastructure inspections, construction, agriculture, security, and so on and so forth. Over the years, we have learned that what is the most important aspect in disrupting the industry is being able to cover very large areas that are scattered around the world. And today, even though our drones are already able to do all those inspection, but it would still require us to travel to those locations. We have been dreaming for a future where we can have our drones situated on the site, installed and set up on the site. So I'm very happy to share that over the past 2 years, together with FlightNow as well, we have had our drone installed in various locations where we are operating right now, to a very significant impact for us, from agriculture to infrastructure and so on and so forth. And I will talk a little bit as well, how this has actually transformed our operations by providing real digital transformations for our customers. For example, when we talk about grid, we have been able to reduce the cost by 30%, while at the same time, allowing us to run the operations by over 400%. And so on and so forth. And that's just not limited to just power grid. We work at wind turbines around the world. We have also just started in agriculture just over 1 year ago. And within a short period of time, we have now managed over 100,000 hectares of plantation in Malaysia alone. And we are looking at expanding these services globally. What is very exciting here is that it is not just about flying those drones in these plantations and all that, but also connecting the nest to all the supplies as well. So we are looking at in the near future where we can operate these drones remotely, not just to fly those drones, but being able to reload the payload with all the fertilizers and whatever that we would require to do this in a fully autonomous manner. So that's actually where I see the future is actually very, very exciting for this industry. Now, we are now at the stage of post-pandemic rise, and I'm looking at 2022 to be the rise of enterprise. The drone applications for the industry is already becoming very, very exciting. I've already seen the last quarter at Aerodyne, for example, is the best quarter ever for us, and I'm sure the situation is also the same around the world. 2024, what we have today are really drones that are in the nest. But I'm looking, we are professing that by 2024, we will be able to see a far smarter drone sitting in the nest that we have around the world, right? So this is very much in line with what we've been looking at the industrial revolution of the past. We are at the era of Industrial Revolution 4.0, where it is actually about connecting man and machine, right? We are already at a stage about we are moving towards Industry 5.0. And I'm also already looking at how the next generation of technology when it comes to drone is actually becoming very, very exciting. We are already now at a generation 8 of drone, where we are also very close to be able to use 5G technology. In fact, we are at Aerodyne, we are already testing our drone in the nest, controlling them through 5G as well. This actually opened up a whole world of opportunity in terms of effectiveness of the operation itself. What we have today are really not really fully autonomous. What we have today are automated flying. I think the world can expect to see our drones to become smarter, to work together collaboratively, and to have all of this driven by AI, taking multi-function or multiple input source to optimize our operations. And at Aerodyne, we are very deeply involved in developing this kind of technology right now. So as you all know, as I mentioned earlier, that the future is fully autonomous. What we have today, I wouldn't want to call it down flying machine, but in fact, that's actually what it is. What we have is actually smart sensors. The era of aerial robotics is actually upon us. What you can see on the screen is actually our design for our nested system right now, which is already being tested in many locations as well right now. One of the key things where the Nest is enabling us is actually to move to a AI-enabled swarm intelligence system. So we are looking at a system where it is not just a singular drone in a singular nest operating alone, but multiple nests, multiple drones operating together to achieve the same mission. And that is actually a very, very exciting prospect moving forward. We can look forward to very high level of artificial intelligence that can actually run the operation by mission, rather than having qualified and pilots to be operating them, but having the operation itself managed from the cloud with mission optimization running as we go along, right? So an example of this, the future of drone tech, this is how it's going to look like. The brain of operation will reside on the cloud, where whenever we are operating this, it's actually about giving it mission objective. So for example, when you're running this, for example, for border security, no longer do you then remotely operate those drones. No longer will you be operating them by scheduling the patrolling, but by giving it a mission objective. For example, if you were to take care of maybe 50 kilometers of river bordering between two countries, you would define what, based on the knowledge that you have at that particular time, the hotspots. Then the system, by inputting the number of nests, the number of drones that you would do, the system will then, looking at the terrain of the area as well, would then give recommendation where you should be putting your nest, right? And then as it goes along, the system will start doing patrolling. The system will start to understand the terrain. The system will start to understand the nuances of the operation by itself. This may sound like the stuff of science fiction. This is what the next technology will be able to enable us. And this is when the aerial robotics will come into place. In my vision, I see this kind of technology being enabled by the technology like what our friend is actually working on right now. Is actually will enable this kind of rollout in the industry in the near future. Some of the work on this, for example, that we are working on already right now, ranging from security and surveillance, critical assets and agriculture, as I mentioned earlier. Let's take a look, for example, for security. We have been running a system like this for the past 1.5 years already, to a very interesting response from the security personnel, talking about how effective our system has been, being able to beam all the live visuals that are flying around the, of course, classified area where we are doing all of these activities, and being able to actually monitor them at various command centers around the country, being able to monitor event as it unfolds, being able to not only schedule the patrolling, most importantly, in our experience, we have been able to allow, to create awareness. So it's not just from us flying over there, but the awareness of having those drones looking over this hot zone has been a very exciting deterrent for all the various illegal activities that are happening at the border. So in our experience, this has been very, very effective. And we are actually currently already looking at extending the number of nests at the border. So this is already something that is very proven for Aerodyne at site. Now, how, in summary, how would these autonomous and AI-powered drones will impact humanity as we move forward in the future, right? Today, if you look at immediately, we can expect increase in productivity, right? By having that smart mission-driven AI from the cloud to manage all of these drones, we can expect better safety because no longer do we need to have pilots on the ground, especially when we are looking on a dangerous mission, for example, at the border. We are looking at cost savings as well. In our experience in some of the locations that we are working on right now, we are already saving about 45% of the cost by reducing the number of personnel that would be needed to manage a certain assets that we have been working on. And most importantly, this system allow for very large, allow for the ability to run very large operation. We will be able to scale very, very easily. What we have in our pipeline is already to work on thousands of kilometers of network of connected nests that not only we can control from remotely, but these nests are operating autonomously, not only just by charging, not only by sheltering the drone from weather and all that, but actually collaborating between one to another. That's why I'm very excited with the launch of Flight Now app store. All of these intelligence and use cases are additional value that will be provided on top of the drone itself, or the functions of the nest itself. So this is actually a very, very exciting time for the industry. I look at how the industry is heading. This is almost like, when the drone industry really started about 10 years ago, it became into, large scale operation maybe about 5 years ago. So we are at the verge of something very, very exciting right now. As I mentioned earlier as well, technological singularity is just some say 2 years away, some say it's 5 years away, some say 10 years away. But without a doubt, singularity, a point in the near future, where the collective intelligence of machine will surpass the collective intelligence of human. So imagine a situation where the number of calculations that we can do at any given time in order to optimize any missions that we operate around the world will be better in a far more significant way as well. Some of the key technologies that will not only bring the industry to the next level, and not just the nest that we are talking about. I'm also very excited about some future technologies that is coming in the future. Hydrogen and nuclear-based power are also coming. Imagine a situation in perhaps in the timeline of 5 to 10 years from now, we can have a nuclear battery that will extend the life of our drones. There are some estimates that are talking about in the near future where even when you use consumer electronics, you may not need to even charge them anymore, because for the lifespan of the consumer electronics, whether your phones or your computer, you could be looking at being able to use them for 4 or 5 years without using. So picture this kind of functionality coming to our drones as well. I'm also very excited about sensors and power system. I think one of the key area where AI will be able to bring significant value to the nest system that we are talking about is actually sensor fusion. For example, some of the things that we are already working on right now is actually how do we deploy those remote drones based on incident that happened at site. So today, we are already using DAS, distributed aural system, that function as aural sensors that detect movement, detect sound, that actually give, through triangulation, will be able to give a clue where the sounds are coming from. And based on that information, it will tell us information, where are the locations where this drone will be autonomously flying to check out the incidents at where it is happening. So this is again, the future, how drones will disrupt the way we work. This could also be, for example, when these nets are being installed throughout the thousands of kilometers at strategic locations for power line, based on satellite data. If there are incidents that are detected, with the information of the location that we need to deploy, or rather where we need to go. So these drones can be deployed to the nest as well. So we are already working on doing predictive analytics. We are looking at doing prescriptive analytics that is connected to the nest, that will allow ultimately at some point in the near future, the management of assets to be fully autonomous as well. So that's actually some of the most exciting future that we can all look forward. I talked a little bit already about AI and swarm intelligence, point number 3 earlier. Again, to recap, the value here is actually being able to run driven by mission rather than operated by remote operator. And most importantly, is to have those drones to collaborate within one another. For example, as we are flying, one drone could be running out of battery. The system will call upon drones from the next nest to be able to come in and continue the mission. So another example, for example, as drones are following a threat, and as we know that the drones, the threat, the target is heading towards the north, the system will be able to then prompt a drone nest that is located maybe 5 kilometers north of the target area to then deploy the other drone to start flying and wait over there at a certain altitude so that it can actually then detect the number plate of the vehicle that is coming its way. So those are the kind, and coupled with AI on the drone itself, will be able to read the number plate of the vehicle and be able to, again, of course, there's also privacy issues that we are talking about, but this, when it is deployed in the control manner to look after the security of the border, would allow for a better control of the, or rather better addressing the problem statement of the system. Of course, in terms of motion planning and singularity in drone, the number 5, I will skip number 4, I'm running out of time. The number 5, singularity in drones, is something that we can really look forward to, which is the era of really smart drone. Powerful, connected drones to the cloud that actually control all this system that are operating around the world. So to me, I'm betting, maybe for some, this is a scary future. To me, what the industry will need to do is actually to have that control mechanism. How do we control this situation? How do we control this technology? But yet, at the same time, how we can harness this technology to transform the way we operate. But before we get there, the technology that we have today are already providing significant impact to the way we at Aerodyne are already operating. We are saving our costs significantly by minimizing the need for us to travel to the site at every single time. We are also, for example, not only looking after thousands of kilometers of power line, we also have drones installed at warehouses of our client, looking after the security of the warehouses. Another project that we are working on right now is to look after gas pipeline, again, over thousands of kilometers. Of course, we are at a lead stage of all of this. What we have done right now is actually to test this over 15 kilometers first, to get to prove as a proof of concept to our customers. All of this is done very closely with the Civil Aviation Authority of the countries where we are operating. To me, I think the future is very exciting for our industry. And thank you, FlightNow, for being one of the pioneering entity that work very strongly in providing us the operating system that is enabling the use of nested drone around the world. Thank you very much.
Wow, we are really living in very interesting times, and it is so exciting to visualize what this technology has in store for us in the near future. Thank you so much, Kamarul, for sharing those insights with us. Drone autonomy is really going to be a game changer, and through our partnership, we hope to play a significant role in shaping this industry together. I would really like to thank Kamarul once again for joining us today. I know that he has a very packed schedule and this is probably an odd hour for him. So thank you so much, Kamarul. Really appreciate.
My pleasure to be here. Thank you.
With this, let's get started with our speaker sessions. As you all know that we have multiple parallel tracks planned for everyone today. Please click on the sessions tab to join the session of your interest and make the most of NestGen. Thank you everyone for joining us today, and I hope that you will all have a great NestGen. Thanks.